We're getting awesome questions, and I'm really excited to answer this one. The question is, does Cosmo sand the edges? And the answer is emphatically and proudly yes. And I do believe that guy right there is the only robotic sander on the market that sands the edges, and it took us a lot of thinking, but we figured out how to not sand through as well. So I'm pretty excited. I'll show you how it works, and so let's go. Everything, we don't want any programming, so it's this simple. You just tell it with these 4 buttons what you want it to sand. So if it's lit up, it's gonna sand it. So here, we're only gonna sand the edges. Let's go. Cosmo, only sand edges. Let's push go. Right away, we're getting some laser measurements because the edges have to be super, super accurate. There's no room for error on the edges. So we get right in there and get a good measurement. And then we run around the edges. And of course, we can go as fast or as slow as we need to, depending on what we're trying to accomplish. But there you have it. Cosmo sands 2 edges, and then it's a simple 180 flip, hit start again, and it'll get the other 2 edges. What I want to demonstrate next is we'll run through a whole door, because everyone says, well, what if I want to sand all 4 edges? So I'll show you how I would sand all 4 edges on a door. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to send out the robot the first time to only sand 2 edges. Then we're going to send out the robot the second time to sand the other 2 edges and the rest of the door. So I'm just going to set the camera back, I'll run the machine, and you'll see exactly what that looks like. So here we go, all 4 edges. So I'm going to jump in as the operator. I'm going to give it a 180. And then I'm just going to ask Cosmo to sand the other edges and the rest of the door. So the key to remember, as while all of this is going on, your operators are doing the handwork over there. They're sanding all the vertical surfaces, they're getting everything ready. So all of this flat sanding is happening while your operator is doing the vertical sanding, and that's how we double the speed of an operator. So cool. Also blows off the sandpaper. So there you have it. If I look at the time on the video, it's a minute 58. So sometimes when you're watching the videos, it seems painful. It's like, wow, that takes a long time, but it's actually only 2 minutes and we sanded all 4 edges and the face of the door. Okay, I know this is the edge sanding video, but this is a very important part of it. The key to remember, if you're purchasing any piece of equipment, whether it's sanding equipment or routing equipment, I mean, the bottom line is you have to produce more than before you bought the piece of equipment. So when it comes to the edge sanding, we tell everybody, don't think the machine has to do all of the sanding. Just because you bought this machine, it has to do all of the sanding. The edge sanding is kind of the wild card when it comes to balancing the work between the robot and the operator. So if you have a door that takes 5 minutes of hand sanding, then I will say, yes, let the robot do all of the edges, let it do everything. But if you have a door that only takes 1 minute to do the hand sanding, but the robot sanding is 2 minutes, you don't want your operator standing there for a minute doing nothing. So in that case, I would offload the work from the robot back onto the operator and say, you do the edges and let the robot do the flat stuff. And you want to balance that work between the operator and the person for maximum throughput. If you just let the robot do it all at 2 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever it is per door, but your operator is standing around for a minute, you're losing throughput. You could lower the overall time by doing some load balancing. And when we show up to install these machines, I mean, it literally takes us 30 minutes and you're sanding. The training is almost nothing because you just push start and it goes. But we spend 2 days at your factory teaching people about flow, teaching them how to maximize throughput using this machine. So, you know, whether you want to sand 2 edges by hand, the other 2 and the rest of the door on the robot, or whether you sand all 4 edges by hand, that's the critical thing to getting maximum throughput out of this machine. And I hope this makes sense. If that doesn't, just call me. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because every time we answer a question, you'll get notified. Also, we've got a couple of other pretty cool machines coming out in the next little while, so you don't want to miss anything. Thanks for watching.